So apparently Republicans are losing their minds, and I'm talking about officials. They cannot stop getting in their own way, which is going to be part and parcel with one of the things we're talking about today. I have some notes today about our Republican officials nowadays. And then the Jill Biden story, meaning her ex-husband, which everyone's making such a big deal about. I actually have a different view on that one. I know every commentator ever has said that, but I have a different view on it, and there's a reason why. It's along the same theme of the Republican leadership that's kind of stupid. And the reason why is my third topic, which is that the special elections that have been going on so far for all of these local things, we've been getting thrashed pretty hard. We've been getting thrashed. So not going as well as we would hope. Then California decides to do a driving tax. It's still in talks, and hopefully it goes away. I also found out that apparently we spend $2.20 per gallon on taxes here in California, which, doesn't make you feel happy at all. Billie Eilish, after her stupid nonsense in the Golden Globes, is now getting some kickback from the Tungova, I think, tribe. So yeah, that's a little bit fun. And Iran apparently swung a drone around at the Abraham Lincoln, and we shot it down. So there's a lot of interesting things going on. Welcome to the ripple effect. Let's make a difference, right? So the first thing, Jeanine Pirro went off, and for some reason she thought it was a good idea. And I have the story here. Apparently she was on Fox News, and she said, quote, "If you bring a gun into the district, you mark my words, you're going to jail. I don't care if you have a license in another district, and I don't care if you're a law-abiding owner somewhere else. You bring a gun into this area, you're going to jail." Now, guys, we are the party of Second Amendment, okay? This is why it's so important. This is why, guys, this is so important, and this is the lesson that you need to learn, and this is the lesson that we need to spread out there. We don't change because of circumstances. If we have a belief that we hold to the truths of the Bible. We hold to the truths of what our country was founded on and all those principles and all the rights and the wrongs that we push away. Those are immutable. They don't change because it's something inconvenient or convenient for you. I have no problem with Frank Peretti having a concealed carry permit. If he passed all the legal things to get a gun, that's fine. The moment he does something wrong with that gun, you take him away or arrest him. Take it away or arrest him. And in this case, he ended up dying because of it. Again, we cannot just say because bad people will use good things to take it away. That's the same exact reasons why a lot of the gun control items are already out there by the lefties. We cannot follow their tactics. And this is the same thing after the whole Pam Bondi thing went off on hate crimes or hate speech. And she was going on and on about hate speech until someone says, hey, Pam, that's their line. We don't use that line, okay? We don't believe in that kind of nonsense. So that's their line. So I don't know what's going on with Republican leadership and the fact they can't get their act together. Like why they think this is a good idea to go down these tropes. It tells me that they're frustrated, they're flustered, and they don't have a plan, which is really going to bite us in the butt later. And this is my second story, which is Jill Biden's husband. The fact you're saying Jill Biden's husband and Biden has been married to Jill for like 47 years. And people were getting upset about it online and saying, why would you call him Jill Biden's ex-husband, right? Well, one, because she's the more famous person. Okay, I get that part. But why are we focused on this? Apparently the right is making a big deal about this. Why? So the story is, because no one knows what his name is, Jill Biden's ex-husband from 47 years ago killed his current wife, okay? He's going to jail, so how does that affect Jill Biden? The only reason why it's getting sensational headlines everywhere is because it's Jill Biden's ex-husband. If we just left it alone, who cares? Like, leave them alone. We don't go after the soft targets on their side in a sense of people like that. I didn't like... It was necessary. It was necessary to go after how not there Biden was, but it also hurt because we understand the value of someone. We understand the value of their soul. And when I see even Biden, who's someone who I completely disagree with, going through what he was going through and people not letting him go out to pasture to rest, it upset me. And it should upset you too. But when we go after these kind of people and include her and making it a big deal about the fact that it was her ex-husband, for what reason, I have no idea. But when we do that, we look stupid. We look stupid. And because of that, apparently, there was a swing in a very red district that Trump had won rather well. And apparently, this was a special election that happened in the state. I forgot what state. But this is not the only one. This is why they're getting concerned, is because apparently there's been quite a few recently where it was like something like 14 points for Trump and ended up switching like 17 points for this guy. So the Democrat. So showing that there's a dramatic shift. And it's all about messaging. I've been saying this. We can have all the right stances, but if we don't have the messaging, if we're not giving the right message about our stance, we look like fools and we look like idiots. And this is why it's so important for you to be the voice of reason in your area, for you to make a difference. We can have all the big people out there talking, and it doesn't matter. The people that matter and that might change their mind are going to be influenced by you. They're not going to be influenced by me. They're not going to be influenced by a Ben Shapiro or Michael Knowles or a Glenn Beck or a Tim Pool or these kind of people, because they know where they stand. And they might know where you stand, but they're going to give you the small little bit of credence because they know you. There's a little bit of bias where they know you. You can make a difference in their life by opening their minds to the stuff that's going on here. We have the proper platform. We have the right morals. We have the right understandings of what's going on. I support ICE. I think what ICE is doing is good. But I also acknowledge that there's certain things that ICE shouldn't do because they look terrible. And one of them, like I mentioned, was going into a Mexican restaurant, eating the food, and then arresting the entire staff. Again, it's all about messaging, and it's not looking good for us come midterms, which it usually doesn't anyways, but it's not looking good for us. And with the special elections especially, it's really not looking good for us. So we need to be better at our messaging. We need to be better, and we need to be better because we need to do it locally. We need to work on people locally and be smarter about it. Now, apparently Iran sent a drone to scope out our aircraft carrier, and we shot it down. So not any surprise there. They were probably just going to try to see how much they could poke the bear, and it didn't take much to shoot it down. Let's be reminded last time that Iran went after our Navy, what happened to their Navy. We destroyed it in a matter of 2 hours, I think. It was toast. And I'm assuming that the same thing would happen pretty quickly now. So Iran, if you're listening, which you're not, but if you were listening, maybe control yourself. But on that note, it still is irritating me that Trump has not done anything for the freedom fighters in Iran. Are we just going to let it go back to what it was? Are we not going to have regime change after all those people died? And 35,000 people died? Are we not going to do that? After you give a line that's supposedly not going to be crossed, and they cross that line, and then you set another line, and they cross that line, you, Trump, are as bad as Obama, and they walk all over you. Don't tell me that you have strength of character. Don't tell me that you have lines that won't be crossed when you're going to do this. Pathetic. Now, on the note of California, apparently the whole Prop 50 thing is now going before the Supreme Court. It is being dealt with because the redistricting based off of third-party impartial things or districting committee is trying to be overturned by Prop 50, right? So Prop 50 was to make it so that it was a partisan group that Gavin Newsom would put together, and they would redistrict the area, basically getting rid of all of the representatives that were Republican in the California. Apparently it's going through the Supreme Court, so hopefully that gets shot down. Their nonsense gets shot down, but you never know what's going on. And when we have insanities that we don't even realize that we have as insanities, meaning that the sheriff for San Bernardino, I think, is running for governor. Good for him. I hope he makes it. I doubt he'll make it because he's Republican, but if he makes it, good for him. But he pointed out the fact that we pay $2.20 in just taxes in California. Give you an idea, I filled up gas today at $4.40, meaning that if we reduced that and took away the $2.20, it would be $2.20 a gallon, which is on par for the rest of the country. That tells you how much money they're siphoning off. And ask yourself this question. They're doing that, and then they're wanting to drop a tax on mileage. On every mile you drive, there's like a certain, every 1,000 or whatever it is, there's a certain tax that's going to be going in there. Okay, where's the money going? You're collecting an insane amount of money. On every gallon, you're collecting $2.20. I drive a lot for my company, so that's a lot of gallons. That's a lot of money. So where is it all going? Where? And we have Nick Shirley out here now, so hopefully he can find a lot of this crime and fraud and clean it up. It'd be good to get it out here, get it done with. And the problem is, what they're not telling you is that they collect all this tax money so that they can bring in more illegals and supply them with free healthcare, free housing, and all the other stuff so that they can make them happy so that they'll vote Democrat. That's what it is. They do it. They take your money and give it to all the illegals so that they can have a voting block. And those of you that give your taxes and spend all that money that are Democrat are fools. You're fools. Because eventually they'll even turn against you. They will. How do I know that? Because Billie Eilish. This is the last story. Billie Eilish was saying a bunch of nonsense about how no one can be illegal on stolen land. And then immediately afterwards, the Tungva, tribe hit her up because her $10 million house is on their land, or on their ancestral land, and so it's stolen. And so because of that, how dare she have her land there? And obviously it's stolen, so what is she going to do about it? And I don't know. I think it's going to be funny. Go ahead, Billy. Get out of this one. How you planning on getting out of this one? You're going to pay through the nose, I'm assuming. I'm assuming you're going to have to pay them off because you've just told them that it's stolen land. So how do you take care of that? And if you pay it, is that white privilege? Because they're people of color and you're white. Is that white privilege or is that wealth privilege? So much. And on a final note, which is funny, all this crazy lefty stuff has apparently left a company in England in ruin because they made a bunch of biodegradable wire for their internet wire. Biodegradable. Okay. And apparently the rats love it. So they are going bankrupt because the rats are eating all their cables and they're having to replace it. So that was smart. Sometimes you can be too smart for your own good. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, the difference that matters is the difference that you make in your life with those around you in small ways, creating huge ripples. Thank you so much. Have a good day.